and today we're talking all about your rising ritual. Are you ready to have some fun with me today? I have been having so many conversations with people lately in regards to how do you start your day? How do you fuel yourself up? How do you support yourself as you move through the day? And many people have been sharing with me how they don't necessarily make time and space for themselves in the morning just because they're always on the go, ready to get to work or do what is first on their list. And so today I'm going to share with you why it's so important to have a rising ritual and the benefits of having a rising ritual. And also a little bit of storytelling. As you know, here at Breathe Joy, we love to share stories because when we share stories, we're able to interconnect our experiences, but also remember we are not doing this alone. So to get started, I want to encourage us to get grounded so we can arrive in the present moment and give ourselves permission to hear the messages that are meant to come through in this space. So I invite you to get comfortable in your seat wherever you are. Lengthen that spine, bring those shoulders up to the ears and roll them back. And gently close the eyes so we can get grounded together. Bring both hands over the center of your chest, connecting to your heart's energy. And together we'll take 3 deep breaths. Inhaling, filling the belly. Rising that breath into the chest and exhale out the mouth. Another deep breath in, filling the belly. Rising that breath and exhale out the mouth. Biggest breath you've taken today. Deep inhale. And exhale. We take this moment to ground ourselves in the energy of the present moment. We open up our hearts to hear the wisdom that is meant to come through on this day. We give ourselves permission to connect to our sacred selves, connecting us with the energy of Mother Earth, of our spirit guides, of our ancestors, and all those benevolent beings that are here to support us for our highest good and the highest good of all. Deep breath in and exhale. Really grounding ourselves with the energy of Mother Earth, asking for her support and guidance as we move through our day. Deep breath in and exhale. And when you're ready, gently opening up the eyes and welcome to the present moment. One of the things I have started to incorporate in all my meetings and I want to start incorporating in my videos is a grounding practice. Grounding is so essential, especially because we are so busy. We got so many things going on, so many projects, so many relationships to tend to, but we can't forget to be present and intentional with where we are in this current moment. And so I invite you to incorporate grounding in everything you do because it allows you to come into the present moment. So let's get into it. The morning ritual, or the rising ritual as I like to call it, because I am rising into my greatness. I am rising into my beauty. I am rising into the gifts that God gave me so that I can show up in the world, really answering prayers, supporting other people, and doing God's work, as I like to say. Why is this important? Well, let me tell you a little story. So before I started having a rising ritual, I was always on the go. And sometimes I don't have time or don't make time. Let's say that I don't make time for my rising ritual. And I notice the difference. So when I don't make time and space to really ground myself in my own energy, ground myself with the universe, ground myself with my ancestors and my spirit guides, and also with my intention for the day, I feel very frantic. I feel really anxious. I feel like everyone's energy is impacting me. I feel very irritable because I didn't give myself time to love me and show up for me. So your rising ritual is all about showing up for yourself, loving yourself, and taking time and energy to show yourself that you matter, because you do. And so if you are calling that energy in, if you are wanting people to reciprocate that energy, it starts with you. You must prioritize yourself at the beginning of each day, because the more you do that, the more you'll start to see that energy coming back to you. I notice that when I do my practices in the morning, I feel so much more fuller. I feel more intentional. I feel grounded. I feel connected to myself. And I also feel protected. As in my spiritual protection video, I shared with you one of the spiritual practices that I do in order to protect my energy in the morning. And that is so essential. As you know, the world is on fire. There's a lot of chaos happening, whether in the outside world or in your internal world. There's always something going on. But in order for you to not take in that energy, it's important that you make time and space to add this to your morning ritual. So check out that video to understand more of why spiritual protection is important in the morning. So when I do this in the rising, I give myself permission to really ground myself in my own energy, setting the intention for my day, calling in the energy that I am seeking. So what is a morning ritual? Well, first, let's break down the difference between a ritual and a routine. So many people have routines, right? And this is a set of actions that you continuously do every day, like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, drinking your coffee, but it's just an action that you're doing. So the difference between a ritual and a routine is the ritual comes with intention. It comes with purpose. So you're still brushing your teeth, you're still drinking your coffee, but you're coming in with a purpose. So for example, when I drink my cafecito or my tea in the morning, I don't just drink it real quick. I take the time to set an intention. I give gratitude for drinking this coffee, as it is a way that I connect with my ancestors. I also brew a little bit of coffee for my ancestor altar, so I put a little cup there for them every morning. And I give myself permission to connect to that energy. I also add cinnamon, setting the intention of abundance. I add a little bit of sugar or agave to add some sweetness to life. So each thing that I'm doing is very intentional. I'm not just doing it to check off the to-do list. And that is the difference. We are moving with intention and in purpose with our ritual. And with our routine, we're just doing the thing, right? And so you might have a routine, and that's beautiful. That's a great place to start. And so when you have your routine, now it's starting to see, how can I ritualize this time instead of just getting the habit done, right? When we're just going, we're not moving with intention. What does it mean to move with intention? So intentionally is one of my personal values, as well as one of the values for Breathe Joy. And for me, it's all about purpose. Why are we doing this? Are we just doing it because we have to do it, because it's something on the list? Or is it something on the list, but it also has a deeper meaning? When we connect to the intention of something, we are telling ourselves each act is sacred, as you are a sacred being. I am a sacred being, which makes us all sacred, and we are all connected. But we first have to go back to ritualizing our lives. Because when we ritualize our lives, we are reminding ourselves that I matter, that I am sacred, and what I need is important. When we are just going through our list, sometimes our day becomes weeks, becomes months, and we're just like, where did the time go? What did I do? So when we ritualize our life, we're being more intentional about being in the present moment and really giving gratitude for what is here, and not just living in the future or focusing on the past. So it's really shifting our perspective to the now so that we can create the reality that we are seeking. But the more we are shifting our perspective to the now, which is a practice and is not easy, being in the present. Trust me, I know. There's days where I'm like, yo, what did I even do today? I was just like moving, doing things, And it happens. It happens sometime to all of us because we are all human. This is an opportunity to give yourself grace as you are shifting from your routine to your ritual. Or if you don't have a routine, starting to create a ritual. Key elements to incorporate in your rising ritual. You should have in this space something that supports your body, your mind, and your spirit. Why? Because you are a whole being. You are multidimensional. You have many layers to you. And so it's not just about taking care of one thing, but it's about seeing all of you. And some days it might shift. So giving yourself permission to shift as you need. So for your mind, you can use breath work. You can use meditation. You can use journaling. And this is also very supportive to your body and spirit. So they all interconnect. But when we are focusing on taking care of one aspect of ourselves, know that this could be the focus for your mind. When it comes to your body, you can incorporate gentle stretching, you can do yoga, you can add movement or dance, really incorporating joyful play here. It doesn't have to be 2 hours, but it could be between 5 to 20 minutes. Or if you do have an hour, give yourself permission to also be in that space, right? We don't want to overwhelm ourselves with saying, I'm going to do this for a whole hour and not have time. So being realistic of where you're at right now. So if you have 20 minutes or you can wake up 20 minutes earlier to incorporate this into your practice, give yourself permission to do that. But when it comes to your spirit, there are some practices that you can include, such as prayer, gratitude, and setting an intention for your day. So again, this also supports your body and mind, but when it comes to centering our spirit, these are practices that can be very supportive in connecting with your spirit. Story time, my rising ritual. So in order for you to see what a rising ritual looks like, I want to share my personal ritual with you. So something that I have cultivated over the last 8-9 years, and it has evolved over time. So first is going to my altar. So if you haven't checked out my altar video, go check that out so that you can learn how to create your altar for your rising ritual. So when I wake up, I take the time to open up all my blinds, to let the sun shine in, and I go to my altar. I always light my candle, whichever candle I'm currently working with, to light up the light for my day, to connect to the intention that I have with the candle. I burn either sage, right now I'm working with cedar, or you can burn palo santo. I like to play with different herbs. Sometimes I have dragon's blood. So, just feel free to play here, right? So right now I'm working with cedar. So I burn a little bit of cedar and I just water myself. I cleanse my energy. I clear it out to really support me in cleansing out anything that isn't serving me and really grounding myself with the energy of Mother Earth, as this is an herb from Mother Earth. From there, depending on where I'm at, sometimes I like to connect with Insight Timers. So again, this is a meditation app that I love to use because there are meditation teachers from all over the world. Honestly, it has been so supportive with my morning practice. And I find a teacher that's resonating with me or something I'm calling in. Today, my meditation was all about intentionally connecting with my spiritual guides, with the ancestors, with the directions. So really intentional on connecting with the ancestral practice of grounding. So that was the meditation today. And I love connecting to different teachers because each teacher impacts me in a very different way. So this teacher, her voice was so soothing. It was so supportive. It really helped me just ground and drop in. Usually my meditation is between 10 to 20 minutes, giving myself space to kind of see how much time I have in the morning for the meditation because there's a lot that I incorporate in my ritual. So once I go into my meditation, I allow myself to connect to breath work, really grounding myself in my body. And during this time, sometimes my mind is going, right? It's like telling me, oh, I need to do this. I need to go here. I need to make sure to contact this person because I am a very busy woman. But I have to remind myself, Hazel, come back to self, come back to your heart, come back to your breath. Like I said, this is a practice. And so some days it will be easier than others. So give yourself grace and compassion during this time because this space is about building those tools. It's about building that resilience. It's about building that self-respect and that self-trust. So be gracious with yourself as you are learning because it may be very uncomfortable in the beginning. Once I'm done with my meditation and whoever I'm working with, their time has come to an end in the meditation, I go back to breath work and I set my intention for the day. So I bring my hands to heart center and I set the intention of what I'm calling in. So today my intention is all about being present and intentional with everything I do, really connecting to the energy of sacredness, as this is a practice that is ongoing for me, as it is hard to be in the present moment. So I'm constantly catching myself being drawn to somewhere else and I'm like, Hazel, come back, Hazel, come back. So trust me, I know it's not that easy, but it's a practice, and so I keep working at it. So once I set my intention, I go into prayer. And usually in this space, I pray for my family, I pray for my mom and dad, for their health, I pray for my sister, I pray for anyone close to me, and I pray for all those that are seeking love and support during this time. Usually if it's cold, I also pray for all those unhoused, sending them light and love, sending them protection, sending them some love, asking the universe to bring them what they're needing for this day. Because again, I know that my energy impacts the world. So when I pray, I know I'm not just asking for myself, but I'm also asking for others around me. So prayer is huge in my morning ritual. I also take the time to spiritually protect. I go through that space to make sure that I'm grounded with the energy of the universe, asking for the protection of Mother Earth, my ancestors, my spirit guides, to know that I am not alone moving through the journey. And then from there, whether I want to pull an oracle card for more clarity for my day, or I go into stretching or doing a yoga practice. And this is so important because I realize as I'm getting older or I'm getting younger, I notice my body is needing a little bit more love and attention. So I make time and space to really make movement a huge part of my rising ritual so that I can feel more comfortable in my body, so that I can see where there's aches and pains and really breathe into that space. Because remember, your breath is your medicine. And when you are intentionally becoming aware of what your body is holding, you're able to breathe through that and really release that pain, release that tension, release that energy that's stuck. And that might be connected to something that you're moving through, that loving compassion, so that you can be with yourself intentionally during this time of healing your body. And sometimes I also add my journal. So I want to make time and space to reflect on either the day before or how I'm calling in the day. And that all depends. Sometimes I journal in my phone and sometimes I journal in my journal. So again, I'm giving myself permission to play here. It doesn't have to be a certain way every single time. But for sure, non-negotiables are meditation, breath work, prayer, and setting an intention, and protection. Those are my non-negotiables. They always have to be a part of it. And of course, movement. So usually for that movement, I give myself an hour to an hour and a half, whether I do my practice here or I go to the gym or I go outside. Give yourself permission to play because it doesn't have to be so serious. And the more we incorporate joy and play into our lives, the more we are giving ourselves permission to shine our light in the world. Because when you pour into yourself, you are able to pour into others more freely, more grounded, and in a supportive way. So that is my rising ritual. And I hope you were able to take something from that and maybe incorporate it in your rising ritual. And remember that the more you prioritize yourself, the more you pour into yourself, the more you could be the love you want to see in the world. This isn't just being selfish. Let's unlearn that. This is not being selfish, prioritizing you. It's actually self-preservation, because you are pouring into yourself so that you can come cup full and on overflow, and then you can pour into others more freely, more abundantly, more from a place of joy and love and peace and understanding and compassion, versus being triggered and showing up in harmful ways, recreating the harmful system that has actually continuously harmed us. So the whole point of creating this space is so that you can start to become self-aware. Self-awareness is huge, because if you are not self-aware, you are constantly causing the harm that you are trying to not receive. And so that doesn't make sense, right? But a lot of times it's unconscious. We're unconsciously snapping at people. We're unconsciously saying things that we're just like, why am I showing up like this? And so the more you take the time to pour into yourself, the more you get to see, hey, I am snapping a lot at work. What's going on? Or, hey, I am really aggressive to my partner. What is going on? I don't want to be like this. I don't want to show up like this, right? And so the first thing is recognizing it, that's self-awareness. And when you become self-aware, you are able to show up with more love in the world, and you are able to receive that love back, right? Remember, the universe works on energy. Everything is energy. We are connected to the frequencies that we are in. And so if you are pouring in that love, if you are pouring in that energy into yourself, you are telling the universe, I am worth investing in. I am worth loving. I am worthy of receiving all the good things. And so the universe replicates that and brings it towards you. So remember, it's not just about manifesting. It's not just about writing it down, but it's about intentionally making the time to integrate this work, right? That is what I see most common with my clients, is there is a disconnection between the knowledge and the implementation. You can know all these things, but are you applying them daily into your life? If you are not, it's okay. It's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. There's no need for judgment, right? This is judgment-free zone. We are just becoming aware. Hey, there's this disconnection. So I know meditation is supportive. I know yoga is supportive. I know prayer is supportive. But am I actually integrating this into my life? And so this video is all about reminding yourself that you are worth investing in, that your time and energy is very important, and you must utilize it intentionally. And it starts with intentionally showing up for yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, so you can be that love that you want to see in the world. How to create your own rising ritual. So I want to make this easy for you to start implementing into your life. If you already have a morning routine, then the shift is really about being intentional with everything you are doing. So really taking the time to slow down as you do each thing versus rushing through everything. If you do not have a routine or ritual, then the practice is start small. Always start small. Don't overextend yourself, because then you might not do it because you're like, oh my God, this is too hard, right? We want to make things easy to implement. So starting your morning 10 to 15 minutes earlier than you usually start. Starting there. And be intentional with the things that you choose to implement during that 10 to 15 minutes. whether that's breath work, meditation, journaling, prayer, adding things that really call to you. As I'm naming these things, what is calling to your heart? And you're like, yeah, I want to do that. All right, do that thing that sparks that joy for you. And of course, meditation can be very intimidating. There's an app that I love to use that I mentioned a couple times before, Insight Timer. Download this app, y'all. I'm telling you, life changing. In that space, you can find teachers that resonate with you, and you can also find other people around you that are also connecting to meditation at the same time as you. That's kind of cool. So find a meditation that's 10 minutes and give yourself that time and space to ground with your breath. Remember, it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay. In uncomfortableness, I don't think that's a word, but it's okay. In that uncomfortableness, there is so much growth, right? Imagine a seed that's planted in the dirt. And the more you water it, the more you nourish that soil, it starts to grow, right? But there is this moment where that seed is about to burst through that dirt. It is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to go from the soil that's warm, that's supportive, to all of a sudden going out into the fresh air where it might not have all that support. Now it's impacted by nature, by the winds, by people, but it trusts that its roots are so grounded with the earth that it can thrive. And so remember that in that discomfort, there is still so much light once you break through. So give yourself permission to water yourself, to nourish yourself, to feed your soul with this space by just dedicating 10 to 15 minutes in the morning to pour into you, because you deserve it. And so I just had to say that right now because my spirit was like, you need to share this with them. Remember that it starts small. Implementing little things that can be supportive to you, and then celebrating yourself, tracking that. Whether you get an app or in your journal, creating a little chart that says, okay, every day that I completed my morning ritual. And an Insight Timer also tracks that for you. So every day it will say you meditated today, and it will give you that space of consistency, showing you that you are doing the work. Because remember, in the consistency, there is so much magic. It's not just about the end result. It's about the beautiful journey, the beautiful dance that you get to do with yourself every single day. And some days it might be harder than others, but continue to do this practice because it will definitely transform your life. I am a testimony to that because I started this, and at first I was so uncomfortable doing this. I was so uncomfortable sitting with myself. But the more I did it, the more I started to see change, the more I started to see it in real time. Like with people, when someone was coming at me all crazy, instead of me being reactive towards them and just saying anything, because I could get a little ratchet, I would take a deep breath. And I would take a moment to say, okay, Hazel, how are you going to respond right now? Am I going to lash out? Or am I going to respond in a way that's supportive to me and them? Letting them know, setting that boundary that the way they're communicating to me is not okay. And I'm happy to hear them, but not in that manner. Or if I'm feeling really activated, I can say, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but I need a moment to take a step back because I'm really activated right now. Right? That is self-awareness. That is knowing where you're at. And when you are getting to that threshold of you stepping outside of yourself, because you don't need to do that, right? You don't need to expend that energy on other people. That is so unnecessary and that causes more harm. Just because someone is showing up harmful doesn't mean that you need to reciprocate that. You could be the bigger and better person and show them how to show up in love and communication. We do not need to start creating this harm all over again That is why the world is the way it is, right? So we need to be that change in the world to create a more sustainable, a more supportive, a more healing, a more loving environment, not just for ourselves, but for the babies, for the next generations to come, because they are the ones that are going to be here. And they need to know that there is a better world out here for them to thrive. Celebrate your wins at the end of the week. Look at how far you've come. Even if you were able to do your ritual 4 days out of the 7 days of the week, that's a huge win. So celebrate yourself on that. The more you celebrate your wins, the more you are building that trust, that respect within yourself, letting you know that you are worth investing time and energy. So remember to celebrate these wins and then share it with people, right? Share it with people. When people ask how you're doing, you know what, today I'm feeling fantastic because I poured into myself in the morning and now I can be more present with you. Or, hey, you know what, I started incorporating this morning ritual, this rising ritual, and it really is uncomfortable for me, but I know this is going to help me a lot. So I'm staying consistent. You want to join me in this challenge, right? Make it fun. You don't have to do it alone. So tap into your community and maybe ask 2 to 3 people around you, like, hey, y'all want to do this with me? So I encourage you to start doing that so you are not alone in the work. All right, y'all. So that is my take on the rising ritual. I really hope this video has been supportive to you. Please add in the comments anything that you are already doing for your rising ritual. If there's anything that stood out to you or something that you want to incorporate. Remember, the more we share our story and share our resources, the more we can grow as a community. And that is the goal. How do we help each other thrive so we can make a better world, so that we can all live in harmony and peace and love and joy and laughter and so much more. So remember, prioritizing yourself is so beneficial. It is life-changing. It doesn't happen overnight, but the more consistent you are in showing up for yourself, the more you will see results in how you show up in the world. The more you will see how your self-awareness grows, the more you will be able to see how your light is impacting the world. It has been a pleasure to connect with you and share my personal ritual with you. I hope that you are able to take these rituals into your space and remember that you are sacred and you deserve being poured into. I hope the rest of your week is filled with so much love, joy, and healing. May you be protected as you move through the world, and I'll see you next time.